Imagine a world before cities, before writing, before even farming. This was the reality for early humans who, like all living creatures, engaged in economic activities for survival. Just as lions hunt gazelles and bees collect pollen, humans sought out food, water, and shelter. They were hunter-gatherers, their lives dictated by the rhythms of nature. Early humans roamed in small bands, foraging for edible plants and hunting animals. Their tools were simple, sharpened stones, wooden clubs, but effective enough to ensure their survival. This way of life, though challenging, fostered a deep connection with the natural world. These early humans were not so different from us. They possessed the same capacity for innovation, the same drive to improve their lives. Their economic activities, though seemingly simple, laid the groundwork for the complex systems we see today. As we will explore, the journey from foraging bands to bustling cities is a testament to human ingenuity and the power of collective action. Survival in the ancient world was a group effort. Early humans quickly learned that cooperation increased their chances of success. This realization led to the development of division of labor, a key factor in human progress. Instead of everyone doing the same tasks, individuals began to specialize. Some became skilled hunters, able to track and bring down large game. Others focused on gathering, learning which plants were edible and which were poisonous. This division of labor, though seemingly simple, had profound effects. It allowed for greater efficiency. Skilled hunters could acquire more meat, and experienced gatherers could collect more food. This surplus of resources was crucial. It meant that not everyone needed to be constantly engaged in finding food. This newfound free time allowed individuals to develop other skills and crafts. Some might have become skilled toolmakers, crafting more efficient weapons and tools. Others might have focused on creating clothing or shelter, further improving the group's chances of survival. This division of labor and the resulting specialization were the first steps on the long road to complex societies. As early humans transitioned from small, nomadic bands to larger, more settled tribes, their social structures also evolved. This shift was driven by the increasing complexity of their economic activities. No longer were they simply focused on individual survival. The need to manage resources, maintain order, and resolve disputes led to more sophisticated social organizations. Tribes often consisted of multiple families or clans linked by kinship ties. These larger groups required some form of leadership to coordinate activities and resolve conflicts. Elders, respected for their wisdom and experience, often took on this role, guiding the tribe and passing down knowledge to younger generations. This shift towards larger, more complex social structures also saw the emergence of new forms of social interaction. Trade, both within and between tribes, became more common. This exchange of goods and ideas further stimulated innovation and specialization. The transition from small, egalitarian bands to larger, more hierarchical tribes was a gradual but profound one, laying the foundation for the rise of even more complex societies, civilizations. In the fertile crescent of Mesopotamia, a remarkable transformation took place. Around 3500 BCE, the world witnessed the birth of the first cities, marking the dawn of civilization. Among these early urban centers, Sumer emerged as a shining example of human ingenuity and organization. Sumerian cities like Uruk and Ur were more than just large settlements. They were hubs of economic activity, cultural innovation, and political power. The heart of Sumerian cities was the temple, a towering structure dedicated to the city's patron deity. The temple served not only as a place of worship, but also as an economic powerhouse. It controlled vast tracts of land, employed scribes and administrators, and managed granaries that stored surplus food. Surrounding the temple were the homes and workshops of artisans, merchants, and laborers. Sumerian cities boasted a remarkable degree of specialization. Skilled craftspeople produced pottery, textiles, and metalwork, while merchants traded goods with neighboring cities and distant lands. This complex web of economic activity was supported by innovations like writing, mathematics, and irrigation, all developed and refined in the bustling heart of Sumerian cities. These city-states, though independent, were linked by a shared culture, language, and a complex network of trade routes that crisscrossed Mesopotamia. Section 5, a time of change, comparing the Holocene and Sumerian eras. The rise of Sumerian civilization coincided with a period of significant environmental change. The transition from the Holocene climatic optimum to a drier, less predictable climate. The Holocene optimum, a period of warm and stable climate, had allowed for the flourishing of hunter-gatherer societies. Abundant resources and favorable conditions meant that these groups could thrive without the need for agriculture or permanent settlements. However, as the climate shifted, so too did the way humans interacted with their environment. The once reliable sources of wild plants and animals became scarcer and more unpredictable. This environmental pressure spurred innovation and led to the development of agriculture, a technological revolution that would forever change the course of human history. The Sumerians, faced with a changing climate and increasing population density, were among the first to embrace agriculture on a large scale. They developed sophisticated irrigation systems, channeling the waters of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers to irrigate their fields. This allowed them to cultivate crops like barley and wheat, providing a stable food surplus that could support a growing population. This shift from hunting and gathering to settled agriculture marked a turning point in human history, paving the way for the rise of cities, states, and complex societies. Section 6. The Agricultural Revolution, Seeds of Civilization. The Agricultural Revolution was not merely about producing food, it was about transforming human society. The ability to cultivate crops and domesticate animals led to a cascade of changes that reverberated through every aspect of human life. Perhaps the most immediate impact was the shift from nomadic to settled lifestyles. No longer needing to follow migrating herds or seasonal plants, humans could establish permanent settlements near their fields. This stability allowed for the accumulation of possessions and the development of more elaborate dwellings. Surplus food production also led to population growth. With more mouths to feed, communities grew larger and labor became more specialized. Some individuals could focus on farming, while others could develop crafts, trade, or govern. This division of labor, driven by agricultural surplus, was the engine of social complexity. It allowed for the emergence of new social classes, from priests and rulers to artisans and merchants. The agricultural revolution, though often romanticized, was not without its challenges. It led to increased workload, greater susceptibility to famine and disease, and the rise of social inequality. However, its benefits in terms of food security, population growth, and the development of complex societies were undeniable. Section 7. The birth of urban life, religion, trade, and specialization. As agricultural villages grew in size and complexity, they gradually transformed into bustling urban centers. The rise of cities was accompanied by the development of distinct urban institutions and practices, shaping the social, economic, and religious life of their inhabitants. Religion played a central role in Sumerian cities. Temples dedicated to patron deities dominated the urban landscape and served as centers of both religious and economic power. Priests, who held considerable influence, managed temple estates, performed rituals, and interpreted the will of the gods. Trade, another cornerstone of urban life, flourished within and between Sumerian cities. Merchants, utilizing a system of weights and measures, exchanged goods ranging from grain and textiles to precious metals and timber. This bustling trade fostered economic interdependence and cultural exchange between cities. Specialization reached new heights within the urban environment. No longer were individuals limited to the few skills needed for subsistence farming. Cities boasted a diverse array of craftspeople: weavers, potters, metalworkers, carpenters, and more. This specialization, fueled by trade and surplus resources, led to the production of high-quality goods and fostered technological innovation. Section 8, Beyond the City Walls, Interconnections and Early Empires. While Sumerian cities were initially independent entities, they were not isolated. They were connected by a shared culture, a common language, and a complex web of trade routes that crisscrossed Mesopotamia. These interconnections facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas, and people, fostering both cooperation and competition among city-states. As cities grew in power and influence, they sought to control resources and expand their territory. This led to conflicts between city-states, with each vying for dominance over its neighbors. From these conflicts emerged the first empires, as powerful rulers like Sargon of Akkad conquered and unified vast swathes of territory under their rule. The rise of empires marked a new chapter in human history. It signaled a shift away from the city-centered worldview towards larger, more integrated political structures. Empires, with their centralized administrations, standardized legal codes, and vast armies, brought about unprecedented levels of political and economic integration. They facilitated trade over long distances, spread cultural ideas, and imposed a degree of order on the ancient world. However, these early empires were often short-lived, collapsing under their own weight or succumbing to internal strife and external pressures. Section 9. A legacy of innovation. Sumer's enduring impact. The Sumerian civilization, though it eventually declined and gave way to new powers, left an indelible mark on the course of human history. Their innovations in agriculture, writing, mathematics, law, and governance laid the foundation for the development of all subsequent civilizations. The Sumerians were pioneers in urban planning, developing sophisticated systems for irrigation, sanitation, and defense. Their invention of writing, cuneiform, revolutionized communication and allowed for the recording of knowledge, laws, and stories for future generations. They made significant strides in mathematics, developing concepts of arithmetic, geometry, and astronomy. Their legal codes, like the Code of Hammurabi, established principles of justice and influenced legal systems for centuries to come. The Sumerian civilization, though long gone, continues to captivate our imagination. Their story is a testament to human ingenuity, our capacity for innovation, and our enduring quest to build a better world. From their humble beginnings in the fertile plains of Mesopotamia, they forged a civilization that would shape the course of history, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire and influence us today.